welcome to the podcast. Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm Taylor.
And I'm Matt.
And we're doing one of our last of two wrap-up videos. Matt and I are going to be talking about his exodus from the great desert land of the United Arab Emirates. And we're going to be talking about potentially some future activities and different things. So Matt, you got 4 weeks till you come back to the good old United States. And I know that you're probably experiencing some anticipation to come back to the United States, but you're probably already thinking, this place is pretty sweet, and I've gotten used to a lot of the different aspects of Dubai. So I'll stop assuming things, and why don't you go ahead and tell us what your thoughts are as you approach the deadline?
Yeah, so 4 weeks from today, I will be getting on an airplane and heading back to the FLA in the great US of A, which, like you said, I'm really excited about. There's definitely a lot of anticipation. Of course, getting to see my mom and dad picking me up from the airport is going to be awesome. And also getting to see you and the rest of my peeps back in Gainesville and Jacksonville. It's going to be really, really awesome to kind of reunite. But I think it's also going to be difficult on some level to leave Dubai, simply because I've spent the last 4 months investing so much in not just the city, but the people. I've really built a lot of relationships with my classmates at the University of Dubai, with my roommates here in Silicon Oasis, and then just with the overall environment, interacting with people on the street and documenting my adventures. And I noticed even last night, and I still have a month, which a month is a pretty extended period of time, but I know it's going to go by really quickly. But I noticed last night I was even getting a little emotional when I was going to bed and thinking about, man, I only have a month left. So I can only assume that these next 4 weeks are going to fly by. And that's why I'm really just trying to make the most of it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I couldn't even get my mind around what you're thinking right now. I'll go on vacation and really enjoy where I'm at, and then maybe not want to come back. But being 4 months somewhere, I've just never done that. I've never gotten to that level. Cool, man. Well, let's really dive into those emotions you were talking about. What exactly is the thing you're gonna miss most about Dubai? Do you feel like there's a big question that you've been trying to ask and find the answer to that maybe you won't be able to answer, and that might be painful?
I think one of the things that kind of describes my experience here in Dubai the most is just clarity of mind. There's been a lot less distractions here in Dubai as compared to my life in Florida, in the sense of I haven't been with all of my usual friends. I haven't been at the University of North Florida, and I haven't had some of the modern conveniences that are usually at my disposal in Jacksonville. And so I've really been forced to move outside of my comfort zone and challenge myself in new ways, whether it's just as simple as picking up new hobbies like doing this podcast, or as complex as really kind of engaging in these moments of introspection and exploring myself and reflecting on the first 21 years of my life, and also looking forward to things that I want to do in the next 21 years. And so I stay really busy. I always try to have something going on. I'm always hanging out with people, or I'm doing homework or working on content creation for this project. But at the same time, I do have a fair amount of free time that I would usually fill with hanging out with my friends or going out or doing whatever young people do. And because that chunk of time isn't being filled. You know, here I go on a lot of walks, and I think, and I read, and I write, and I listen to podcasts and stuff, and I think that's produced a lot of mental clarity, which has been really, really beneficial. But as much as I look forward to being home and doing my usual activities like going to yoga and hanging out with all my friends and stuff, I'm gonna miss these chunks of time where I could just go for walks and just think and kind of meditate and reflect. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that there is a lot less distractions in Dubai. And I actually have two really, really like fundamental and like simple questions. What is the state of like advertisements in Dubai? So like in America, you'll be watching, you'll go through your day, and like magazines have put out some publicity and some numbers, but you'll see X amount of advertisements a day. Like, do you see a lot of advertisements in Dubai, and do you feel like that's like something that kind of diminishes your quality of life at all?
I'd say it's comparable to the U.S. I mean, I spend a lot of my time on my computer and on the internet, and the internet is about the same wherever you go. I would say a big distinction is the sexual appeal used in advertisements, because the culture here in Dubai and the UAE is a little more conservative due to the Islamic faith. There's not as much sex appeal that's used on billboards, YouTube commercials, or just pop-up ads, and so that's like a subtle difference, but I'm sure I would be able to answer that question a lot better after being back in the U.S. for a week or two, because now I'm so far removed from that environment. It's really easy for me to forget certain things as far as like the comparison in the advertisements. But that's one thing I've noticed. Something that I always think something that I've always thought has been really interesting is how the advertisements for alcohol here is non-existent, simply because alcohol is this thing that is almost considered culturally taboo. It's not something that's really talked about a whole lot in the presence of the older generation, and so you don't see any advertisements for it in stores or on the streets, simply because it's not sold. It's only sold in specific locations, and I actually had the chance to go to like this liquor store in this city called Ajman, which is about 50 minutes from Dubai, and it was like a really big deal that I went. All my friends were like, "Oh man, you went to Ajman? Like, that's crazy." And the liquor store was like any other liquor store. It was just kind of like a warehouse full of a bunch of alcohol, but they had a bunch of security. It was kind of like in this secluded location, and it was almost treated like an adult entertainment shop, in the sense of you can't see through the glass, and it was just almost kind of like weird being there. Like, there's almost like this like sense of condemnation or sinfulness, like, oh man, I'm buying a beer, so I'm going to hell type thing, which I know is not true, but it was almost just kind of like that vibe was being given off. So that's something that I've noticed too, is how alcohol advertising is huge in the U.S., almost non-existent here.
The other kind of simple question I had was like, what have you been eating? Like, what are the different foods you've been eating? Like, because I've been chowing down on a lot of like sandwiches, a lot of like canned soup, like Campbell's soups. Love that. But I also have
the diet of a bachelor.
Like Chipotle and Krispy Kreme. You know, whatever I want, basically I can get within reason. But like, what have you been eating?
It's such a funny question, but I think it is important. Food is such a big part of culture, and so it's, I don't know, I actually kind of like that one. I'm going to stick that in my back pocket and use it with people, because you can really learn a lot about someone and by their eating patterns.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, when I am at my apartment, I'm not a big cook. I've been learning how to cook more the more that I haven't been living at home. But I eat a ton of eggs. A lot of eggs, a lot of peanut butter and jelly, a lot of milk and cereal with diced fruit to add a little bit of flavor. And then I make like this stir fry, which is a mixture of diced potatoes, onions, tomatoes, olive oil, and then some different spices. So I try to keep my diet pretty simple, pretty clean. But one thing that I will say is that my buddy and I have this favorite restaurant here in Silicon Oasis that we go to once every couple of weeks. And we order the same exact thing every time. The server will bring out a big plate of steamed rice and then this dish called butter chicken. And it's kind of like chunks of boneless chicken in this gravy, and the gravy is it's like orange, and I'm not really sure like how to describe it. It's a little on the sweeter side, as the name suggests. It's very kind of buttery. It's not spicy, which is surprising because most Indian dishes are extremely spicy. But it just has this incredible flavor to it. And when you mix it with the rice, and then we also order a bunch of Parottas, which it's like a fried tortilla. It's like deep fried. So it's this flat circular piece of bread. And basically what you do is you tear off a piece of the Parotta. You kind of scoop up a little bit of rice, and then you soak it in this butter chicken gravy. And let me tell you, dude, it is so tasty. Because I'm a huge Chipotle fan. I worship Chipotle. Chipotle is awesome. But butter chicken at the Copper Kettle, which is this restaurant, blows Chipotle out of the water. And so whenever my buddy and I are trying to treat ourselves to something nice, we'll text each other and say, hey, you wanna hit up the Copper Kettle? And it's really good. It's tight. It's awesome.
Man. It's tight. Ooh. But you're making me hungry. Making me super hungry. Even after my big hearty sandwich that I made earlier in the I was hooking it up with some Black Forest ham and some Swiss cheese on a nice white bread bun. I had some honey mustard, some mayonnaise on there, just smothered, and then I threw that in the panini press.
Oh yeah, getting fancy with it, dude, with the panini.
Yeah, it just molds all the distinct grocery store flavors into a nostalgic cube of indiscernible flavor. But anyway, I really appreciate you sharing that little bit about what you've been eating. And I just asked the question because, like, you know, what is it like to go to a grocery store there? You know, that would be interesting to get some footage of that if you could, to kind of splice here. So like maybe describe a grocery store experience that you've had, good or bad or interesting, if that's even a thing. I mean, you said you get peanut butter and jelly, so I'm assuming you frequent the grocery store.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually took a vlog probably about 6 weeks ago that's posted on our Facebook page, and I was in a grocery store, so I got a little bit of footage, and we'll try to include that in this episode. Yo, what's up guys? I'm here in a Dubai supermarket, as I'm sure you can tell, and if you've ever wondered what a Dubai supermarket looks like, wonder no more, because I'm here in the flesh getting some shopping done with the crew. We got a Aftab and a Seal over here solving all the world's problems, trying to figure out which eggs to buy. Danny's just kind of tagging along, checking out the different produce. He just got back from a trip in Abu Dhabi with work. He is a fire flame mechanical engineer. How long do you plan on working as a mechanical engineer, Danny?
As long as I look.
Yeah, as long as he wants, because we're just balling like that here in Dubai. We do what we want when we want. But the thing that's really interesting is that there is this neighborhood, this private community right behind my apartment that is comprised mostly of Europeans and Australians. And they have a grocery store called Spinneys that is right next to the entrance to their gated community. And that is, I've been there once, and it has a really Western feel to it. All the brands that we would recognize as Americans, very similar layout, a similar smell, and the reason why I've only been there once is because it's really it's really expensive compared to the other supermarkets here. And I think part of that is because a lot of Americans and Europeans generally make more money here in Dubai, and so they have a larger discretionary income. But either way, I went there once because I had to get pancake mix, and so Spinneys was the place to go. But the supermarket that I go to, which is right down the street from my apartment, still carries all kinds of normal household goods. Like Taylor pointed out, they have peanut butter and jelly, which is a major key alert for me because I'm just hungry all the time. And so peanut butter and jelly is a great way to just quickly satisfy my outrageous appetite. But I mean, they have pasta, all kinds of produce. They have a pretty extensive deli section. It's just kind of like this butcher shop in the middle of the grocery store. There's this huge chopping block. There's the dude with like the little like headpiece thing on that's keeping all of his hair back, and he's just going to work with these giant knives, chopping up this mutton, which is lamb. For those of you who don't know what mutton is, I didn't know what mutton was. Chicken, all kinds of stuff, and cereal's a big deal. They have a huge cereal aisle, and also candy, dude. My roommates who are Indian, I tell you what, these guys eat candy like nobody's business. They come back with like these giant bags of Snickers and Twix, and they will just go to work, dude. They'll go to work, dude, like Tim Tebow in 2006 when he was winning national championships. That's a little shout out to the University of Florida. But these guys, they don't mess around when it comes to the Snickers and Twix. So people here in Dubai have a giant sweet tooth.
That's interesting. For all you international sugar traders, that might be a little cue for you to start maybe peering over to the Arab Emirates de la Unidad. So I'm into it, man. I really want to come visit at some point and check out the whole Dubai scene. Try Dubai, if you will. And I think that it could only be a positive experience just based on, your testimony and what I see in the background. I think a lot of people's perception of the Middle East is kind of what we hear in media, which is like violence and crazy, atrocities against human rights and women and stuff. And it's, there's some of that. Definitely, it's undeniable. But for the most part, it's just like Pittsburgh, Well, I've had fun. Learned a little bit about the grocery store scene. And why don't we talk about kind of what we were already talking about before this, kind of where we're going to go from here. Obviously, we'll have at least one more podcast before Matt comes back. But we were talking about doing a project, a little bit of an expansion, bringing in some other folks to kind of invigorate and empower what we're doing, and maybe injecting some good old American capital, some investment into the project as well. And just kind of see where it goes from there. So, Matt, you had some ideas. You want to go ahead and talk about what you were thinking when I brought this up earlier?
Sure. So Taylor and I have a passion for learning, but we also have a passion for teaching and for documentation. And as this Give Dubai a Try project is starting to come to a close, we are already beginning to look forward to future projects that we can use to learn more about ourselves, the world we live in, and also kind of share that information with others. And we're not sure exactly what it is we want to do, but we want to continue something similar that we've already been doing with this podcast, which is just getting in front of a camera, getting in front of a microphone, and talking, because we think there is something truly magical about honest conversations between human beings. And we definitely want to begin to include more people in our work, simply because the more people that you bring, the more variety when it comes to perspectives and experiences and areas of expertise. So I have an older brother, shout out to Dan the Man back in Jacksonville, who's a super awesome dude, really insightful, and also just really fun to be around. He's great company. So I know he's going to be a part of what we're doing in whatever capacity he wants to. We've got another buddy, Trevor, aka T-Rev, a living legend. So I know he'll be included as well. And then also Taylor Dixon, who's a really good friend of Taylor's, and who I've gotten to meet a couple of times. And so we're hoping to kind of collaborate and to harness all of our different brain power and creative talents to really put together something that would not only be special, but that would also be a lot of fun. I know Taylor's hope for his career is similar to mine, in the sense that we really want to enjoy what we do on a daily basis. So many times people get locked into these jobs where that's all it is. It's just a job. It's just a source of income. And while Taylor and I certainly value financial freedom, just because it allows us to do more and also be generous to others, we don't want that to be the driving force of our professional aspirations. We also want to have creativity and learning, and also just teaching be a huge part of what we do, just because it's so fun and it's so meaningful. Like, that's the thing, this is meaningful what we're doing. We're documenting our lives and we're sharing it with other people, and that builds a lot of important connections.
It's constructive, it's documenting our thoughts, and just kind of our views and our perceptions of the world around us. And now, with you being in Dubai and technology being as accessible and as free as it is, we can literally get our world perspective enhanced for free. And well, you're not doing it for free, but I'm getting it for free, and our listeners are getting it for free. But it's a pretty awesome thing, and we're really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. It's going to be hopefully a lot more shinier, I guess you could say, a lot more upbeat. Whereas this has been kind of a good, just kind of level-headed pace to just be able to talk about whatever we want. And I think that the possibilities are really endless, so I'm really looking forward to it, and looking forward to what you guys kind of react with. And I think we'll be hitting probably a broader market. We will do a marketing campaign of some sort that's going to hit more than just what we're servicing now, which, by the way, if any of you guys are curious, our market is mostly females from the age of 18 to 24. So if you fall into that category, which you probably do if you're listening to the sound of my voice, like and subscribe.
And comment.
Yeah, and we know that you only watch this podcast to get the occasional glimpse at Matt's big honking guns and my sexy sideburns that are there. But hopefully you've tuned in and seen and heard, the different deeper insights that we've been able to exploit. But no, I'm just kidding. I know that most people are watching this because they're genuinely interested in Matt and I's experience in Dubai. Obviously, Matt's experience has been slightly more immersive than mine, but the next thing I think to talk about is like what we're gonna do next. Maybe our listeners could give us some insight. So if you're listening to this, show down in the comment section what you'd like me and Matt to do within reason and within a PG-13 rating, and I think that we'll kind of accommodate any kind of requests. So, and I'm talking like shaving our hair,
I was actually thinking the exact opposite. I've invested so much time and energy in growing out my hair. If I had to shave it all off right now, it would be disappointing. I'm definitely going to shave my beard off when I get home, because this thing is real gnarly. But as far as my hair goes, I mean, I know it's not looking too attractive at the moment, just because it's 7 a.m. and I just woke up, but I've been slightly impressed. I continue to impress myself with as amazing as my flow game can get. It can get real gnarly. It's kind of like a lion's mane. To some extent, it's kind of become my trademark. The University of Dubai is having this big end of the year bash this Tuesday, and I auditioned, and I'm actually emceeing for that event. And so the crazy American is going to get on stage, and they're putting a microphone in my hand, and hopefully I won't make too much of a fool out of myself.
They're taking a risk.
I know, exactly. The lady, one of the administrators who is coordinating the whole event, she's this really sweet Indian girl, or woman rather, and I can't imitate her accent, but she said, Matthew, you have to make sure that you're appropriate, and you just can't really reference anything about sex or drugs. And I looked her in the eye and I said, well, then maybe I'm not the right man for this job. Then I said, no, I'm joking, it's fine, I got it. So I'm definitely going to have to keep things PG on Tuesday night, but honestly, it's going to be a blast. There's going to be a ton of audience participation. I'm just going to be among the masses, shoving a microphone in people's faces, cracking jokes, doing some karaoke, if no one else wants to participate, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens. I actually think on the University of Dubai's Facebook and Instagram page, they're going to be doing a live feed. So I'm going to try to have that link posted. That way, if you guys do want to see me embarrass myself in a kandora, which is the traditional Emirati dress, it's just this giant white robe. I'm going to be wearing that with the headdress. I'm going to have a microphone, and let me tell you, I'm dangerous with a mic in my hand. So anything could happen. So you guys will definitely have to check it out if I can get those links posted.
Yeah, adding portable ice. Got a cloud cover. Baby, 'cause in the dark
they'll give you an opportunity to talk about the podcast at all in front of the audience?
Honestly, I could do that. I could definitely do that. I mean, like, once I'm up there,
Yeah.
there's no stopping me. But I feel like that would almost be like a little, I don't know, like a little cheesy or not cheesy, but just kind of like unprofessional. Like the whole event is kind of centered around University of Dubai, and it's this big celebration of the school year and just like all the memories that have been made. And for me to just like get out there and be like, yeah, guys, I got this super cool podcast that you should totally check out. It would just seem like very kind of like self-centered or selfish of me. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to try to find a like creative way to slip it in. I'm sure people, like when I get questions from the audience, because it's going to be very obvious that I'm American, they're going to be like, yo, so like, what's your experience been like of Dubai? And I'm going to be like, well, it's been totally awesome. I've actually got this podcast that I've been doing. So I'll try to sneak it in there in a slightly unabrupt manner.
Yeah. Tight. Well, our listeners will definitely benefit from that, because hopefully people will go on there and then comment and get the diversity marinating juices going. So brace for impact. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'll definitely tune into that live stream, as long as it's not like 2 a.m. in the morning at EST, but but yeah, man, that's cool. That's really cool that you signed up for that. Just get up there and just the first thing you say, okay, everybody take out your phones right now, go to Instagram, follow.
Yes, dude. Just, it has nothing to do with the event. It's just all about me.
All right, everybody raise your hands when you have the Instagram app open, okay? I'm still waiting on a couple people. Still waiting. All right, now you're going to type in the following profile. No, but don't do that, man. You would definitely want to respect what they're doing there. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't have tolerate that, and they'd probably boo you off the stage and make you shave your beard.
They throw a couple of tomatoes at me.
Which you never want that, you know, unless you're real hard up for some ketchup. Unless your fries are cooling down.
Thing that has amazed me about this whole event is a huge part of it is there's a talent show. So a bunch of students from the university auditioned to kind of showcase some of the different talents that they had. And there's like some people that are doing some covers on an acoustic guitar of some different songs. I actually have a video posted on Instagram of my one buddy Kev practicing. And then there's some break dancers, there's some poetry going on. There's like a wide variety of skills that are going to be on display. So I'm honestly super like stoked for this show, just because it's going to be super entertaining.
It's tight, man. This should be really cool. What's the name of the event?
It's just called the University of Dubai End of the Year Bash.
Awesome. Well, prices of oil are going up. Hopefully the United Arab Emirates will be benefiting from that. And, you know, when we return back there, when we're 30, and to invest in the booming oil market, you know, hopefully things will be better in terms of the economy, and things will be more equitable for all of the citizens there. But yeah, man, I think we'll wrap it up here. If you had anything else to say to the folks back in America and globally, feel free to do that now. But I think we're gonna wrap it up. So
sweet, sound good to me. I think we've covered a lot. I feel like the episode today has been almost just a little more disorganized, but I think that's been a good thing, because it's just really free flowing. And like Taylor said, this is our second to last episode, which means the next episode that we're going to be doing is going to be the finale, the season finale. So fasten your seatbelts. We're going to be reflecting on some of our favorite memories, our favorite experiences, and things might get a little emotional. Bring your tissue box, because I might start tearing up. Taylor might start tearing up, and we'll have to turn in our man cards for 30 minutes. But honestly, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. So.
And just a quick clickbait. Matt and I are both going to be butt naked wrestling pigs in the next episode. So be sure to watch and be sure to tune in and make sure that you invite your family over, especially the young ones, to watch that event. But yeah, all right. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm Taylor, and
I'm Matt.
And if you haven't figured that out by now, then you've been watching a different YouTube video, which is fine. Equal opportunity. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to tune in next time. It'll be our finale. There'll be lots of explosions and naked pigs and things like that. All right, adios.